Hello everyone, welcome back to Assetto Corsa Competizione on Low Fuel Motorsport for what is likely to be one incredibly tough challenge. I've not driven in ACC for more than 5 weeks. Misano is a track I've never raced before, and I've been placed in the top split. What could possibly go wrong? My qualifying time of 1:35.3 is the fastest I can possibly manage around here, yet still it's only good enough for P22 on the grid. I'm more than 2 seconds slower than Joshua Gruning in pole position, and it's going to be a struggle to even make the top 20. This one ain't going to be easy. Time to give it everything I've got.
Green light, green light.
Oh, and I tell you what, that early green light caught me out a bit. I wasn't expecting the race to get underway quite so soon after I'd come out of the final turn. As a result, I've lost a bit of ground on the McLaren in front. I take a big nudge from that red Ferrari behind. Pedro Santos getting a little bit too close for comfort then into turn 1. And I've got 2 more McLarens on my inside. Tony Ilsato has got past. Maggio Lenz gets by, so that is at least 2 positions drop. Make that 3 because Pedro Santos in the Ferrari dives up the inside. I've already been tagged once by Santos, so I'm happy to give it the space, and that is exactly the reason why he has tagged Lenz. So that is 2 positions recovered almost immediately, and they're still bashing doors in the rearview mirror. We've lost another driver. It looked like Mike Schlosser sent him to the barrier. We'll have to go back and check out a replay of that shortly to see exactly what was going on. But boy, oh boy, Pedro Santos in that red Ferrari was getting proper stuck in there. So halfway around lap 1 then, I find myself in 23rd. I've dropped 1 position, but I always knew this race was going to be tough. Santos having another look up the inside. I was so close to getting tagged there. Santos has already spun 2 drivers around on this opening lap. I came perilously close there to being his 3rd victim. So I'm not going to lie, I'm feeling a little bit nervous every time I see that red Ferrari close in the rearview mirror. Ideally, I'd like to gap him, but I don't think that's going to happen. We ran almost identical lap times in qualifying. Yellow flags are out. That bunches the pack back together. And there's a green Porsche facing the wrong way. That was Wes Yao. Yao qualified P11, so he was in contention for a top 10 finish. Not anymore. And with that extra position regained, I'm going to end lap 1 where I started it in P22. And a car nudged into the pit wall ahead. Another one, grass tracking to the right. That was Stefan Sabolic out on the grass. As a result of his excursion, the 2 drivers in front of me had to lift off the gas. So all of a sudden, I've gained 3 positions there. Not just Sabolic, but also Walt Becker and Valentin Iliev. So at the start of lap 2, I find myself up into 19th. And I got really lucky there that the yellow flag didn't come out. I was able to take full advantage. Right, let's go back and check out the replay. Loads to unpack from this opening lap. Now, I was a little bit nervous having that red Ferrari of Pedro Santos behind me, so I gave him the space up the inside, and that is exactly the reason why. At the very next corner, he tries another move up the inside of Maggio Lenz and spins him around. We're going to take another look from the chopper cam now. Watch that green and black McLaren right behind me. That's Mike Schlosser. Now, I'm going to nip up the inside here. Schlosser's going to try and follow me through, but he just runs into the side of Pedro Santos, and that sends him out onto the grass. And then towards the end of the lap, we passed that green Porsche facing the wrong way. That was Wes Yao. We're watching Yao now. Did he get tagged from behind as well? No, he didn't. He actually tagged the driver in front of him, Patrick Sauer. And it actually seemed like everybody was bashing into everybody else at the end of this first lap. Now we're watching that black McLaren of Stefan Sabolic. More importantly, keep your eye on the BMW right behind him. That is Valentin Iliev. Now Iliev is going to try a forceful move up the inside here. He runs the McLaren right out into the gravel. Actually joins him in the gravel. Meanwhile, in front, there's the spinning Porsche. We all navigate our way around Yao. But sadly for Sabolic, he is not out of the woods yet. Keep your eye on that black McLaren in the centre of shot. It's going to resemble a ping pong ball coming through this final turn. He bumps the car in front. There's contact with the car to his right. Then there's more contact. He gets bumped by another car and another and gets sent out into the barrier. So a crazy, crazy opening lap here at Misano. Thankfully, I've survived it and I find myself in P19. I've gained 3 places from where I started, but I suspect I'm not going to hold on to this 19th position for long, because look at the pressure being applied in the rearview mirror by Maggio Lenz. So I'm immediately going to go defensive here to try and hold on to this 19th position, but it doesn't look like it's going to work. Lenz holding the outside line. He's still side by side, which means he's going to have the inside for this upcoming right-hander. So defending didn't do me much good there, but I'm not going to worry too much about that. Lenz is driving with the number 5 plate, so he is clearly one of the highest rated drivers in this race. So maybe I can use him to pull closer to the cars in front. Well, we're going to jump forward now to the start of lap 3. And as you can see, I'm already starting to lose ground on these quicker drivers in front. I've not been able to stick with Lenz. However, now Lenz is challenging Tony Ilsato. This might give me the opportunity to close back in. Lenz having a look up the inside of Ilsato, and he's going to make the pass stick. Ilsato's a little bit wide into this right-hander. That is going to allow me to get right on the tail of the blue and orange McLaren. Meanwhile, behind, I've got a gap of 1 second to Valentin Iliev in the BMW, so he's not close enough to challenge at the moment. Can I get close enough to challenge Ilsato? It doesn't look like I can. But at this early stage of the race, only 5 minutes in, I am more than happy just to be tagging on the end of this group. I said before the start of the race it was going to be an uphill battle to even make it into the top 20. Well, currently I am in the top 20. But I'm a little late on the brakes into this section, running in too hot into that right-hander. As a result, I've lost a couple of tenths on Ilsato, but crucially, I've maintained that 1 second advantage over Iliev. So right, let's regroup. Can I reel Ilsato back in? Really fast section of the track. This frightening if you get it a bit offline coming into this right-hander. Well, there is a big group of cars in front now. That is 15th to 19th ahead, separated by less than a second, and we've lost one of them. That was Andrei Hurarov. And Ilsato had to take avoiding action too. Ilsato's on my inside now, but I just carry enough momentum around the outside to take that position too. So we're going to end lap 3, promoted up into 18th place. Well, we're going to have to go back and check out the replay to see what happened to Andrei Hurarov. I suspect he got tagged from behind. It's Macho Lenz right behind him. Is there contact as they come through this hairpin? Yes, there is. It spins the rear of the Ferrari around. That is effectively race over for Hurarov. Right, back to the live action. We're now 10 minutes into the race, and you can clearly see that I haven't got the pace to keep up with the cars in front. I'm also starting to lose grip. I was really squirrely through that final turn there, oversteered a bit, and that is going to invite Valentin Iliev to challenge. I'm just far enough ahead into T1 to hold on to this P18, but I am struggling now for grip. Once again, the rear steps out. I'm really working hard to try and keep this BMW facing in the right direction. I dial up the TC a notch, and hopefully that'll give me a bit more stability. Right, fast forwarding a lap. We're now halfway through lap 7, and that 2 second gap to Chris Stoney ahead is now 3 seconds. I am dropping like a stone here. Valentin Iliev still in my rear view mirror, but he is getting closer and closer. I'm going to have to start thinking about defending Iliev here. And not just Iliev either. There are 2 other drivers within 1 second now. Becker in 20th, Ilsato in 21st. All 3 of them breathing down my neck now. I am going to be put under some real pressure here, and we're not even at the halfway point of the race. And yet again, I'm beginning to question my chances of finishing in the top 20. 14 minutes seems like a long, long time to hold off not 1, not 2, but 3 clearly faster drivers. Well, the added problem too of struggling with grip, my front and rear left beginning to light up now into the final turn. Look how close Iliev is getting. That spooked me. It's pushed me out onto the gravel. I'm rattled here. I'm surely going to lose positions as I get back on track. Iliev gets by. Becker gets by. Surely Tony Ilsato will get by as well. Yes, he does. One Renault Tritane having a sniff as well. I didn't even see him there. Thankfully, he was alert enough to take avoiding action. Right, let's go back and check out the replay. Look how close Iliev is here. It spooked me. It put me under too much pressure, and I cracked out onto the gravel, and this is going to cost me not 1, not 2, but 3 positions. And then I was a little bit careless as I moved over just to try and open up T1 a bit. I didn't even see Renault Tritane there. Thankfully, Tritane was awake enough to avoid me. But yeah, a little bit reckless on my part. That was thankfully no harm done though. Tritane stayed on track. He's now right behind me, and sadly I find myself out of the top 20. Not unexpected given the pace that I've got compared to these 3 cars in front. It was always going to be a struggle, not just coming to a track that I've never raced before, but then getting dropped into the high split as well. So yeah, I'm losing ground at a rapid rate now to this pack of 3 in front. And it's not even like I'm slowing down. I've just posted my fastest lap of the race, but still it is nowhere near quick enough to challenge for the top 20 here. I'm a little bit wide on exit. There's nothing I can do about that. The momentum pulling me out to the outside curb. That is going to leave a wide open invitation for Renault Tritane to take 21st position. Well, he is never going to get an easier overtake than that, and I am dropping like a stone here, down into P22. Right, let's jump forward a lap to the end of lap 12, and while I can't rely on my pace anymore, I can rely on drive-through penalties for some of the drivers ahead. As we cross the start-finish line, we're going to pick up one position. Timo Burmeister is the first of many drivers to get penalised for taking too many track cuts. Now, I've picked up one warning myself, but as long as I keep it neat and tidy here, I should be safe from any drive-through penalties. And actually, without even noticing, I've crept back closer to the pack in front again. Trotane in front is now just 0.4 of a second clear, and Ilsato in front of him just 1.3 seconds ahead. But keep your eye on the leaderboard. There's a drive-through penalty for Becker and Ilsato right after him, so the pair of them penalised for cutting that left-hander one too many times. So that is surely going to give me the top 20. I thought it was going to elude me. Meanwhile, Becker is sideways on track. There is chaos in this left-hander. Somehow I managed to find the only free gap to squeeze through. I've picked up a number of positions there. We have lost several drivers in that incident. Becker has gone, Ilsato has gone, Trotane has gone, and you know what? I think we must have had a DNF somewhere else on the track, because I am now up into P17. Well, how quickly fortunes can change. Watch Becker in the McLaren. He just gets a bit too close to Iliev in the BMW. The pair of them spin out. But then both Ilsato and Trotane pile in, and I managed to find the only gap that was going to get past all three of them. And you know what? I'm not even under pressure, because the two drivers directly behind me after that incident were Ilsato and Becker, the two drivers that had a drive-through penalty to serve. So I was home and dry in P17. Incredible stuff. I spent the last couple of laps trying to close in Iliev, but I just didn't have the pace. And as the checkered flag comes out, Iliev takes P16, I take P17, and Wes Yao was closing in fast but ran out of time. He has to settle for P18. Here are the classified results then. And let's be brutally honest, I was well off the pace here. My fastest lap in the race was a 1:35.6, so a good 0.3 slower than what I managed in qualifying, and also slower than all the drivers in front of me. P17 was definitely the best that I could manage here. Further up the leaderboard, comfortable 1:33s for all the top 8. That is impressive pace. So yeah, the last few times I raced in the Assetto Corsa Competizione a month or two ago, I was edging ever closer to my first race win. It was certainly never on the cards here though. Thank you ever so much for watching. Let's hope I'll be a bit more competitive next time out. Cheers for now.